All right, let's try it again. All right, here we go. Another true Brew Bobcast here at Cafe Detente at the end of Detente Road. And I have two special guests, Miss Cheyenne and Miss Nathaly.
Hola.
Buenos dias.
Uy, muy bien. Buenos días.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
O buenos días. No importa.
So, we got a lot to talk about, but Cheyenne and Nathaly has a radio show called Spanglish. Is that correct? And I was on it, but the format's cool. So Cheyenne picks up the English part, and Nathaly chips in on the Espanol. And if y'all don't mind, maybe we can do that for the podcast. Is that good?
Perfect.
So mix it up,
Yes.
do your thing. Y'all know what to do. Need
Yes.
no instructions from me.
Back in the DJ booth.
All right, so let's just jump into Latinos in Acadiana. And so let's get to know y'all personally a little bit. So, Cheyenne, you have an interesting story. You have a big Latino family, but you actually grew up in Acadiana.
See.
Tell us about that.
So I was born and raised in Cecilia, Louisiana. And for those of y'all who may know, Cecilia is very country, very Cajun. We're right next to the bayou. A lot of the activities that we indulge into are, fishing, gar fishing, very, what is it called? Tubing. Very Cajun culture, right?
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't until I was about 15 when I moved to Cecilia that I really had like that culture involved in my life, like trying rice and gravy, crawfish étouffée. Honestly, crawfish too. It was mostly involved in my Hispanic culture,
Now, were you
rice,
being
beans.
raised by a traditional Latino family?
Yes, yes. So my mom, she's from San Antonio, but she married someone who was from Honduras. So our upbringing was learning Spanish, learning or trying the Honduras food. And, my mom coming from San Antonio, there's already like Mexican culture there. And then she had me with a Mexican man as well. So it was just very deep Hispanic routines and traditions in my upbringing.
And so what brought y'all to Cecilia?
That's where my grandparents lived. My
Okay,
grandparents lived in Cecilia. It was just where we had always migrated to. No matter where we lived, I lived in Maurice, I lived in Lafayette, but always being near my grandparents was where home was.
You still have folks in Cecilia right now?
I do. I have folks in Arnaville, which is still in the Cecilia territory, still country, still can go and get on a side-by-side whenever I want to. But yes, I sure do.
So how was your journey if you're there in your teens? So that can be kind of brutal going into a lot of the Cajun. So they wondering what you're all about. So was that a tough journey?
It was. I found myself very quiet in high school because of that reason. My traditions were a lot different from theirs, and the way they spoke was a lot different than I. And it's not that it was like judging at all. It was more like I needed to like sit back and take it in to be able to understand the people, my environment that I was around.
Right.
And so getting involved and really learning, I was able to develop more of their culture and kind of like walk away from my own. And I wouldn't say walk away from, but more along the lines of, my mom was now a single parent. She didn't have to raise me in the Latino culture. My grandfather, who lived right next door, he was Hispanic, but he married an American woman. So she does the cooking, she does the cleaning, she does the raising, right? And so you naturally start to develop like the American tendencies, the American language, the American culture. And so that was really where started to lose my Spanish and started to lose like what this dish was and the familiarities of certain things. But now being back and connected with Espacio Latino, I'm able to just breathe in my culture again. And it's home because it's in Lafayette, Louisiana. It's with people who are just like me in a way on the opposite end, learning the American culture, but they still get to connect with the Latino culture because they're still sharing their stories and where they come from, and hanging out with Nathy, I'm able to experience Colombian culture, what foods she was raised on, and it's very similar on the things that I was raised on, so it feels so much like home.
That's what makes me so sad, because now that I'm in my research mode, and so I'm meeting all these wonderful people from everywhere. And it happened to my family. It's the in culture, being incultured. In other words, like you was just saying, to your point of wanting to fit in and wanting to, you rather become westernized than to celebrate and share the culture that you're from. And so, I mean, I have buddies, Laotian buddy. I have a lot of people who sort of say the same story with the younger generation.
Mm-hmm.
And so, hey, that's what we're all trying to do, is say, let's time out. We need to do things the same, but also let's celebrate and learn more about these cultures. And so that's great stuff. Nathy, what's your story? Why are you in this chair right here? Tell us how you got there.
Well, I was living in Colombia 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I decided to come to United States. What bring me to United States? Love. But everybody asks me why you come here to United States, and I always say love. That is a good reason.
That's a good
It's a
reason.
beautiful reason. And I've been living for the last 10 years in Louisiana. I was living in Homa. I lived in Homa for 8 years, and after the Hurricane Ida hit the town, my house, bye bye.
Bye-bye.
So, so I had to make decision, and that's what I'm here in Lafayette.
Lafayette.
Yes, I've been living in Lafayette for the last 2 years.
2 years.
Yes.
So how did y'all meet up with, what would y'all call y'all campaign here? What are y'all trying to do? How'd y'all meet up? Tell me that story.
How did we meet up with 94.9?
Yeah, is that where y'all met?
Yes.
Yes. Coincidentally.
Wow, okay.
Coincidentally, yes. I like to say through God, through coincidence, we were both searching for the same thing. It just so happened I was already there. I was introduced by a friend who was introduced to Fernando, and Fernando was looking to, involve more of the American culture and, as well as the Latino culture. Like, unification was really what his desire was. And so he met our friends, he met me, and he was like, we have a project right here. We have something we can work with. And as time went on, I think, how did you end up at that radio station that day? Was it just like a phone call?
That day?
Nathy, come see.
Well, I was invited to the radio station 1 year before that, the day that we met. Jose invited me to his radio station. He said, "Oh, I would love you to have a show with me and at the radio station with us." And I was like, "Okay, that sounds cool," but I was not having the best time of my life. So I say, "I cannot do it right now. I may do it later." So 1 year after, I was getting out from the gym, and God tell me like, "Call Jose. It's time." And I say, okay, I'm gonna call Jose. I call Jose, and he say, "Oh yeah, it would be great if you come to do the show, have a space in the radio." And I say, okay, that's cool. And then we set an appointment at the radio station at the office, and then that's how we ended up meeting.
Right.
And how did the Spanglish format come about?
That very same day, we're talking ideas, and Natalie and I, we're flowing. And Fernando and Jose, they're the directors. They were in the same building, and so we're talking, we're discussing topics already. And Fernando comes out, the Spanglish show,
No,
the Spanglish show.
that was my idea.
Really?
Yes. Jose can witness that. I'm sorry.
As you met Fernando, as soon as he hears something, he's like,
Oh no, he's on. If it's a
Spanglish
good
show.
idea, Fernando is on it.
exactly. That's probably why it's so vivid in my mind. But I remember specifically, Fernando was like, the Spanglish show. Let's get it. Let's make flyers right away. And that's how quickly it took off.
So the listeners, I love it. I love the dual deal. What kind of response have y'all been getting for it being English and Spanish?
Positive, because people want to learn both languages. People nowadays, they want to have the ability to have more than one language. So people love it. Sometimes we like teach people how to say good morning, buenos dias.
That's cool.
Yes, people love it. Yeah, it's been.
You want to catch everybody up in Spanish on what we've been talking about?
Sí, bueno, en resumen, estamos hablando aquí de cómo nos encontramos Cheyenne y yo, y estamos contando la experiencia de cada una a través de la radio, de dónde nació ella, de dónde vengo yo y por qué estamos acá, básicamente en resumen. Y haciendo un poquitico como un par en el cuento, es que estoy enamorada de los cuadros. Si ustedes vieran y sintieran la divinidad de este lugar tan mágico. Y pues nada, estoy agradecida con Mr. Bob por invitarnos acá.
All
By
right.
the way, I love the sign.
Yeah, it's a
Yes,
true Brew Bobcast.
it's so cool.
I know. We put you right in front of it.
Yes, I'm amazed with your place. I love it. It's magical. Yes.
It really
There we
is.
go.
It really is.
Yes.
Well, that was the intent. Okay, so a lot of work in front of us here. And look, I was able to travel a little bit, Venezuela and Argentina and a few places. But I also work with a lot of Latinos in the oil field. And I got to tell you, they just are some cool people. They just loving, very, very loving people. And just always a positive attitude. I pick up that whole vibe with y'all, whole group. And so, what is the plan here? Is the plan to educate everyone in the area about Latino life? And how are we incorporating the Latinos to become a bigger part of Acadiana?
Honestly, I see. Perdón.
Perdón.
I don't see it as like a push at all. Because just like you said, you can see it. You can see the love. You can see the culture, And we always have open invitation to do just about anything. Whether it's have a meet and greet at La Bodega or La Carrera. We always have that open so you can have that experience. But honestly, what we have had in our hands is, being able to educate on things that are already going on in Lafayette, Louisiana, but America also. The small things, add up to the big things. So we just went through a political season where we interviewed everybody that was running for office.
Yeah, I saw
right?
some of those, yeah.
And so we were able to educate. You never know, veterans or even people who are new to America. Even people in my own audience who is running for office. And you have the privilege of having it in English, Spanish. And now we find ourselves interviewing insurance brokers, real estate agents, asking questions like, what are the questions we should be asking as a first-time buyer? What's important to know as a first-time buyer? And, just giving those breakdowns. So really, it's our passion to, share more information, more, I would say, like, good, useful information. But the love is always there. The passion's always there. And I think that's something you can definitely see. And the vibe is always always fun and spontaneous
Oh
at
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah. Do you feel the same?
I think the main purpose of our show and the radio station is helping community and connecting people, connecting both communities, Spanish and English, and I think that that's the main purpose. Yes.
You know, Acadiana, it just goes way, way back. I mean, there's always been some big influx of people coming from elsewhere and making themselves at home here in Acadiana. It's very, it shows up in our culinary and our food. And so the more I'm learning about it, the deeper it really is. But you know, history's wonderful. I love it, but we're living this life right now,
Right.
and so we're living this. So, I I like to put my time and energy into mixing our lives up, and so I think we got some energy going on here. You know, would
Sure.
y'all agree with that?
Definitely.
So let's learn a little more about the Latinos. So tell us, let's talk about, um, you know, in just things that Latinos do that you would like for just the general public to know about. Fernando says, y'all some loud people.
Muy dramática.
Yo te puedo decir, yo soy dramática, me gusta bailar, I'm dramatic, I love dancing, I'm alegre, I don't know how to say that, joyful, joyful, like, you know,
Yes.
all the time. If I see something that I like, I'm very expressive. I love this. Where you got this? I love your hat. You know, always admiring the positive. And yeah, I don't know, we just emotional. You know, I don't know.
That's
Yes, just have,
everything you named was perfect.
yes. We love family too. I'm sorry. Yes,
Oh, big
family, big time.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. So was your grandfather first generation?
First generation American?
Yes, was he the first one or did his parents move here before him?
Um, he was first generation born in America.
Born in America.
Yes.
So what conversations did you have with him when he sees you, his granddaughter, just doing what you're doing, flourishing and getting the whole American deal? Is that, I mean, is it an obvious, nice advanced skip there?
He is very proud because he has fought in the military for 25 plus years.
Okay, good.
Yes, and his father as well.
Wow.
So they're very proud of, you know, just my stance on supporting my culture, but also supporting what he fought so hard for. You know, what he devoted his life to, and so, you know, we don't get too political. He lets me have my own beliefs, but he is very proud on just where I
Oh, I
stand.
bet. I know. Did you, a big family? Y'all have a big family?
I would say it's mid-sized. It was not humongous at all. I've seen bigger families, but, you know, I'm in connection with every single one. So
Good, good. All right, so here at the cafe, we're talking about putting a festival together, and it's the Cuban festival. What are y'all thoughts on that? We have until April, but what are we trying to do here?
we are trying to celebrate the Cuban culture. So we have a Latin music festival every year it was around October this past year. And
Oh,
so,
I went to it. Nice.
right,
When?
right.
In Lafayette downtown.
Yes, in
Yeah,
downtown.
yeah.
Yes.
Fernando, he wants to introduce the Cuban Music Festival, especially because there is a port that's opening up from Morgan City to Cuba.
Correct.
And so we just want to really introduce, you know, the importance behind just Cuban culture. Like what makes them so special? Why are we opening this port? You know, we're wanting to invite people in to really understand why that is, right? We want you to be welcome to the culture, you know, the things we could be trading, right? The things that we could be bringing in. And I think that's really going to be introduced at the Cuban, we can call it Cuban Music Festival even.
That's what it is.
Cuban Music Festival. And
On wheels.
on wheels.
That's what he says. I have the little deal. And
On
what he
wheels
means
like
by,
this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like this. And I think it's on wheels because it starts here at the cafe.
Right.
And then it goes to Lafayette the
Okay.
next night. And then the very next night is in Morgan City.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they're having actually so far three places, destinations to do this. How fun is that? That's going to be
I can see
wild.
it. I can see it becoming way bigger than we can ever imagine.
Yeah, I know.
Just with
sounds
Fernando at the
amazing.
forefront. Have you ever seen him wear his cap with his flag on it?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Just imagine us all driving to Morgan City. It's gonna be like a train of cars with the Cuban
Oh
flag.
yeah, oh yeah.
Just imagine.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. I know. I can't wait till we start hardcore planning after the first. So, no, that's gonna be fun. And Fernando was on the show too a while back, and I asked him, how do you define Latinos? And he just any Spanish-based. So Cuba's Latino, and it goes all of South America and Mexico and the whole deal. I love how y'all just say, okay, it's Cuban, but you know what? All the Latinos are in. Everybody's in at the party.
Yes, because for us, Latin culture, dancing is a culture.
Right.
It's the way we express ourselves. So having a Cuban festival will be amazing.
Have you ever studied Latin dance before?
No, but I'm ready. I don't know if I have the hip movement, but
Do you ever dance Latin music?
I attempted to.
Try.
So let's yeah.
It's a language.
Terrible.
It's a language for sure. Like it is basically when you're with your partner, you're feeling the energy and I mean, you're the man, so you're leading. You're leading the energy of the partner, but
Oh, I saw Dancing with the Stars.
exactly. And
All right.
you can feel that in between. You can feel each other's next move. It's a connection. It's a connection, and it's just so beautiful. I'm personally so excited for the Cuban Music Festival. I hope I have a date by then.
Uh-oh. There we go.
I need a dance partner by then.
And so you're from Colombia.
Yes.
And so is there different dances throughout the Latino? Like is Colombia a little different than Brazil and Mexico? And or is it very similar?
We are similar. We have different type of music. Brazil have samba, Colombia have cumbia, Mexico have música norteña. But I will say a little bit different. Every country have their own signature. But in the end, we all share
We share the dance.
the dance,
moves.
right? Yeah.
Like salsa, bachata, merengue. No matter where you come from, you know the dance. You know the dance, and exactly.
Just happy.
I loved how y'all brought me to these cool little authentic restaurant. Does Lafayette have several nice little jewels of authentic food that people need to know a little bit more about?
Most definitely. And I think they're very hidden. That's what makes them even more special.
Oh yes.
So I would like to shout out El Milagro. The first time I ever tried El Milagro, I fell in love because they are so authentic. On the outside, it looks like you wouldn't even be able to tell it's a restaurant. It's so small, but on the inside, it's so big and beautiful. So beautiful. And I think they serve Honduras food. And I was just blown away by the authenticity of it.
And about sorry.
Why don't you catch everybody up a little bit in Spanish, what we've been talking about?
Sí, estamos hablando un poquitico de la cultura latina y sobre todo del baile que todos sabemos que nos encanta bailar, que el baile siempre nos conecta. Entonces, estamos hablando de las diferentes tipos de baile que hay desde Brasil o en los países suramericanos hasta Centroamérica y Norteamérica. Entonces, básicamente eso. Y del festival que se está planeando, el festival cubano que se quiere realizar, Fernando, nuestro director de la radio, lo quiere impulsar y lo quiere hacer aquí en el café Detente. ¿Es Detente? Detente.
Détente.
Detente, que se escribe detente y eso significa pare. Entonces tienen que parar acá y venir al festival ustedes también y bailar. Yeah. So I wanna my first impression about United States and especially Louisiana is when I came here. I was in Homa, and then everybody was offering me like food from Louisiana, gumbo, jambalaya, and I was very close to I was around the crawfish season, and I was like everywhere where I was going, everybody was like feeding me, feeding me, and that was only for 2 years. After that, like, okay, you already know what's up. But I have to say that I love the food, I love the gumbo, but I have my own slang for my words. So gumbo, I call gumbo gumbis, jambalaya jambis, and well, crawfish, I still don't have a special word, but I love it. I love the culture in New Orleans. It's a beautiful place. The architecture, like as you can see, I love art, so I always like invite all my friends, and I always tell them, like, if you want to see a little bit of French and United States together, come to Louisiana.
Yes, no doubt.
It's beautiful.
Oh no, I tell you, between New Orleans and Lafayette,
Yes.
It's a lot of different little villages along the way, and architecture, and of
Yes.
course New Orleans is full of all the New Orleans things there.
Right.
You know? Okay, so back to the festival here. So, do y'all have any numbers or anything like I think we had talked about that a while back. Do y'all have an idea of how many Latinos are in the area?
Hooey.
I think
About
Fernando had it was more than I thought. It was like over 10,000.
Really?
I think that's what he was saying.
what I would say, like, I don't know how much is the population from Lafayette, but I think it's let's say from the 100% it's like 10%. I would say. I'm
Okay.
Yeah,
not.
that's around that number.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
we're about 120 around Lafayette, so 10, 12,000, something
Okay.
like
Yeah,
that.
that makes sense.
So we're just making up numbers there, but it's a good bit, and so do you know? Are the Latinos trying to have certain meeting places? I know y'all have your festival, and I know you a lot more groups and radio stations. Um, so how is that working out for y'all?
Oh, so honestly, um, what I see beginning is Latin dancing. That is going to be introduced into just Lafayette in general. You have not, or personally, I have not found one place that offered lessons in salsa or bachata, and that is what a lot of people are looking for.
Oh yeah.
So that'll be like a meeting place soon, but whenever we meet, we're dancing. So
And eating.
yeah, yes. So you'll probably see us mostly at La Bamba or let's say El Milagro or Latin cuisine. Really, do you have any other places that you would say people meet?
Oh, that's a tough one. I would say, Chaji.
The Latin Music Festival is another big place.
That's the one that just passed. I
Downtown.
have to tell you, how long have they been doing that?
Maybe 3 to 5 years. It hasn't
Okay,
been
so
too
not
long.
too long, because I was thoroughly impressed at the turnout, and the food booths were just incredible.
This year was a lot better than last year for sure. So I see the growth and what it's bringing. This past year was actually recognized by Mayor President for the first time since he's been Mayor President. So if it started 4 or 5 years ago, this is the first time it's like, hey, this is a Latin music festival. Like, this is officially gonna happen every year around this time. So I would say that'd be another place where we.
No, y'all can build on that. Okay, Festival International. Do y'all plug into the Latinos that come to that, or not? Or y'all focusing on that Latino festival?
I think we focus more on the Latino festival. I think we still like experience the Festival International because it's people from everywhere, so everybody's welcome, and we get to experience everybody's culture, not just our own. So I think that's just like a free invite for everybody to join. Have you ever been to Festival International?
Yes, that was my.
That's our favorite. We love it.
Very nice.
Yes. It's really amazing. They get people from all over the place, but I recall several Latino bands, and it's rocking.
And I went to the jazz festival too, and I love it. I went twice, and I had the opportunity to see a Colombian singer, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Aerosmith. I love rock.
Really?
Yes, I love it. I love music. I love festivals and concerts. So if you'll know.
I know it. Okay, so all right. So why don't y'all kind of beef up your radio station and what y'all trying to do? Y'all have it, and it's y'all platform. Tell everybody what y'all about. So y'all have your radio 97.
Corte.
You can find us on 94.9 FM Lafayette, Espacio Latino. You can catch Nathy and I every Friday from 9:30 to 11:30 on the Spanglish Show.
Y pueden descargar la aplicación en la App Store de Android o Apple y pueden tener la oportunidad de tener acceso a la buena música y de igual manera de escuchar noticias y también pueden descargar la aplicación. Aquí como está. Y ya.
So and translate this for me, if you will, Nathy, as one of the things the cafe is fairly new is our newspaper called the Cafe Chronicles, okay? And so what we're trying to do there is, first thing you need to do is get the app. Go to the App Store and type in Cafe Detente, Detente, and you're going to see the little coffee bean. Press on it. And then it puts you right into the Cafe Chronicles. So how does that work? So what we have is amateur correspondence. These two ladies have their tile, what we call it. And so when you're looking at your newspaper, you're just clicking on the tiles that you are interested in. I have the Brew Bobcast. You can watch this, plug into the newspaper. And then, but you know, the tagline is to escape your algorithm. And what that means is that we're just simply not going to rely on the typical recycled news out there. We're going to report news to ourselves from each other. And so you're not going to get this, you know, refined reporter journalist. What you're going to have is a lot of amateur people having fun and capturing how to live your life in the moment, in real time, and just share that with each other. And so, you know, please pass that along. It's a way for the cafe to get its vibe out there. And we're starting to really do things with all the different groups around Acadiana, but specifically today, the Latinos have taken the cafe in. Fernando and y'all and so many other ones that have invited me to different events, and we're going to create one here. So, hey, you got to start somewhere,
Claro.
right? So, what did I miss there on the newspaper?
You can find us underneath the Cajun Latinos correspondent, especially on Cafe Détente app.
You want to translate that for our Latinos listening in?
Yes, of course. Nos pueden encontrar en la aplicación de Café Detente o Café Detente, where you can download it through Android and Apple, both.
Both.
La pueden descargar a través de Android, a través de Apple y enterarse de las noticias, de las buenas nuevas que Café Detente les ofrece a través de sus corresponsales. En español, inglés, and bilingual.
Perfect. Okay, so they have agreed to come by the cafe on a regular basis. We're going to do a lot more of the True Brew Bobcast. They're going to keep us up to date on their action. Of course, you can listen to them every Friday. Every Friday. And you can follow both of these ladies. They are awesome. They're all out and about, making things happen and spreading all the love. So,
La último, the last thing.
Yeah.
Don't forget to download the how you say 94.9 FM. Also the app. We have also an app. You can listen to the good music and listen to us every Friday. And every day if you want, no matter. Just stay tuned with us and with Mr. Bob.
Download the app. You can find us on Facebook as well and watch us live every Friday. 94.9 FM Lafayette on Facebook, Instagram.
Tu 1, 2, 3. Tu espacio latino.
I asked for that. Okay, so with the Cuban Music Festival, how do they stay in touch with the build-up of that, I wonder?
Through Cafe Détente.
Okay.
It's being hosted at Cafe Détente. We're going to promote it on 94.9.
Okay.
Yes.
Of course, but honestly, we're hosting it at Cafe Détente. We want to bring more people in to see this wonderful environment that Mr. Luke has going on here. It is so beautiful. If y'all aren't already following Cafe Détente on Facebook, you definitely want to do so because you can see the atmosphere, you can see all the things that he has going on, but especially the Cuban Music Festival. So definitely want to stay tuned on Cafe Détente on Facebook. It's going to be on 94.9 as well. You might as well be following both. You don't want to miss that opportunity to catch Cafe Détente and the Spanglish show on both.
Síguenos, follow us.
Sí,
I think the save the date is April 11th. That could change and move, so don't hold me to it, but it looks like it's going to be on or about that date, and it's going to be beautiful springtime.
Right.
Okay, y'all. So let's call it a wrap, and we're going to meet up again soon.
Right.
Claro que sí.
Ciao.
Chao.